G'day everyone, back once again for another video. So today I'm going to be replacing the tensioner, the idler and the serpentine belt on my 2014 Ford Ranger. And why I'm doing that is because if we have a look down here, we can see that my belt has actually started to slowly walk off the actual tensioner itself. So that's a good indication that it's a good time to replace the actual tensioner itself. Because if I were to leave it, it'd probably just keep getting worse, and eventually that belt will just slip off and probably leave me stranded on the side of the road somewhere. Here are my parts, and as you can see, I'm going to be using a genuine idler, a genuine belt, and a Gates tensioner. So the reason why I went with a Gates tensioner is I could have gone with a genuine Ford one, but it was double the price. So I picked this one up for about, I think it was $130 delivered. The genuine Ford one was $260 delivered. With the belt and with the idler itself, it was actually cheaper to buy the genuine items on eBay than what it was to buy an aftermarket one. So this idler here was about $50. This belt was about $58. And essentially that is all you need pretty much to do this job. So I'm going to remove my airbox to do this job just to make the whole process a little bit easier. I've got videos on how to do that if you don't know how to do it on my channel, and I'll try and throw a link in the top right hand corner. But I'm going to come back to this video once I've done all that. So I've got the airbox out and it's just freed up a whole bunch of room. As you can see, it just makes it much more easier to work on. I also removed this plastic turbo pipe that normally sits there. So that's just given it a much better sort of area to work within. Thought I'd mention the tensioner that's in there at the moment. I believe it's a Gates one because I replaced the original Ford tensioner at 200,000 kilometers. So this Gates one has lasted probably about 165,000 kilometers. So it's done a pretty good job. You can get really cheap tensioners for about 55 bucks off eBay, but I sort of wasn't game enough to buy them because it is a little bit involved to change this tensioner. And if I've got 160, 170 Ks out of the Gates tensioner that's in there, there's no reason why I won't get the same amount of Ks from this new Gates tensioner. So your next step is going to be to grab a 1/2-inch ratchet with a 1/2-inch small extension. And this is just to lever the tensioner back. So it goes down in there. I might have to just let go of the camera while I do this. Oh no, there we go. As you can see, it just sort of sits in the tensioner like that. I'm gonna grab an extension bar and just put it over the top there. Essentially what you do when you got that, you just push it forward, and as you can see, it just takes the slack off that belt and you can pretty much remove the belt. Okay, got my belt out and it seems to be in pretty good condition. I replaced this belt at the same time when I changed the tensioner, which was 170,000 Ks ago. And there is absolutely no cracking in it. I can't remember what brand I used because the branding has been rubbed off. Oh no, here we go. There we go. I used the genuine belt when I replaced it. So made in USA, there we go. And that is the part number. So if you're gonna use a belt, you might as well grab a genuine one because from what I can see, they're very, very good and no cracking. And it's lasted 170,000 kilometers. So next up is the idler, which is just gonna be a 15 mil. Hopefully you can see that. Oh man, I'm blocking the light. Get on there. So I just removed the idler and found something very interesting, and that is it is completely gone. It was on its last legs. So it's a very good thing that I'm actually replacing this because that has got a heap of play in it. I don't know what brand it was. I don't know what brand I used when I replaced it, but I do know that I did replace it when I did the tensioner and when I did the belt. So, but now, man, I can't believe how worn out it is. Wasn't making any noises or anything like that. And it still sort of spins fine, but it is very, very loose in there. So here is the Ford idler. As you can see, absolutely no play in that whatsoever. And it's a completely different color. So this one here must have been an aftermarket one that I use, and that is the genuine Ford one. As you can see, there's quite a bit of difference in there. So my recommendation would be use the genuine Ford one. You probably get more kilometers out of it. The new idler pulley is on. I don't have a torque setting for it, unfortunately. So if you do know the torque setting, please put in the comments. I just did it tight, but not too tight. This next part might be a little bit hard to film because of the angle and where these bolts are located. But as you can see, there's a bolt up here and there's two down the bottom. So if we have a look at this tensioner here, this is the one that sits up the top, and those are the two that sit down the bottom. They're generally pretty easy to get to. You shouldn't have too much difficulty getting to them. So I'm gonna crack them loose and take them off, and then I'll show you the next step. I forgot to mention there are all 13 mils. One other thing I forgot to mention is I'm gonna remove this intercooler pipe here just to give me a bit more room, especially when it comes to getting those bolts out, because that'll be in the way. Just cracking the first of the bottom bolts there. Relatively easy access. And now I'm on to the second lower bolt. Once again, pretty easy access with that intercooler pipe removed. On the left side, which is this one here, you've got that long one. This bottom one here is just a nut, and that top one there is also just a nut. But when you actually try to remove the tensioner itself, you'll find that it won't come out. So what you have to do now is just, I think that's an E7 Torx for that top dowel there. So I know I just said E7 Torx. It isn't an E7 Torx, it's an E7 Star, whatever that is, or whatever the proper name is. And all that does, that just goes onto that dowel, and you pretty much just undo that and it'll thread that dowel out. Then you'll be able to remove that tensioner. So I'm just removing that dowel now with the E7 Torx. So once you have that dowel out, your tensioner should come out pretty easily. And there it is. So, do I have a brand? I can't see one. I'll have to scrub some of that grime and that away, and hopefully I'll be able to tell you what sort of tensioner I used, or what sort of tensioner this one was. So I did find the name of the tensioner, and it was a Gates. So all in all, it held up pretty good for the amount of kilometers. Once again, it probably did about 170,000 kilometers, and there's no play in this pulley here. Over here, this one's got a little bit of play in it, but for the amount of kilometers it's done, that's expected. So the only issue was the belt. Was it on this one? Might have been actually on this one. The belt, as you can see that line there, the belt slowly started coming off there by a couple of mil, which if it kept going, it would have probably over time just got worse and worse. But you know, for the amount of kilometers and the price, half the price of a genuine one, it held up pretty good. While you're in here, it's probably a good opportunity to check if there's any play in your power steering pump, and also this fan, which I've got zero play, which is really good. All right, new tensioner is all tightened up. Once again, I don't have torque settings. I just did them tight, but not too tight. Seemed to do the trick last time for 170,000 kilometers, so it'll probably be fine once again. Thought I'd point out something a little interesting. So we've got the new belt compared with the old belt. Different part numbers, 7PK3143 versus 7PK3136. But not only that, old one is made in USA, where the new one is made in Mexico. So interesting to see how long the new one lasts, if it is just as good. I guess there's only one way to find out. All right, so I've got the belt all threaded on. Just want to make sure it's sitting on there properly. And the only thing to do now is to remove that little dowel thing. I wonder if I can get it on camera. Probably not. It's a little bit tight, but yeah, anyway, you pull that. That'll release the tensioner. It'll tension it up. All you got to do then is just put your airbox back on, and you're pretty much good to go. So everything is now back together. So there's only one thing left to do, and that is to fire it up and make sure everything is running fine.